Good evening, everyone. We are the Gratitude Girls.
Oh, we're live. The Gratitude Girls are in the house. Look at that. I was checking to see the time. Let me introduce myself. I am 2 seconds behind Kathryn Asaro Myers, affectionately known as Rara. I'm broadcasting to you tonight live from Niagara-on-the-Lake, Ontario, Canada.
And I am Laurie Delk Radecki in Williamsport, Tennessee, in the United States.
This is an international coaching call. So happy to be here tonight. To our members and to our clients and to our viewers tonight, we want to bring you a very special coaching call. You'll never guess the subject. All right. Like Mel Robbins says, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gratitude. Tonight we thought, because it's tonight for us, so it could be in the morning or the afternoon when you're tuning in with us. We'll spend about 15 minutes here, and I will put my timer on so that we stay on time. And then we're going to invite you into a private room. And in that private room, we'll be able to answer your questions. Some of the new things that we're doing, isn't it fun when we do something new? I like that. We're going to give you a micro lesson, so to speak, here, and then go and dive deep into any questions that you have. So prior to creating some type of appointment with us, whatever type you want to create, whether it's buy me no, it's not buy me coffee, it's try me on for size. Get that straight. Whether it's try me on for size or you want to go right into a coaching call with us, we have created a space. I was just talking to someone tonight. It doesn't have to be a safe space. It can be a brave space. And that brave space, and it is safe as well, but that brave space is where you come and you can be you. And you can be authentic. And I was in a workshop for 2 hours tonight, and it really spoke to that. So we will go into that room where being brave is what we will hold for you. Tonight, we'll touch on gratitude. How many different ways can we talk about gratitude? Well, 8 years worth and maybe 80 years worth, because we are never going to run out of content. We're never going to run out of things to say when it comes to gratitude and the habits of gratitude. So tonight, we'll cover a few basic, simple strategies that you just might have forgotten. They might have just gone right past your mind and you thought, yeah, I know that's a good one, but I'm just a little too busy today. So let's go back to basics, Laurie, with best practices of gratitude. Should we start at the top of our head and then like work our way down and say like what's in our head with gratitude? I'm thinking if we do this like that, maybe we'll end up somewhere in the middle and like have a hug with somebody and share what we do to express the best practices of gratitude. What do you think? Okay.
Yes, that sounds perfect.
Right. Laurie and I have the pleasure to own and have received an award for gratitude. And that's something that I know we both don't take very lightly. We really means a lot to us. And that was something that happened to us. So when you think about gratitude and receiving that award, it was an attitude, and it still is an attitude that was the best practice for us. So I invite you to take some notes tonight and write down, because we always have our gratitude books handy, right? Write down your attitude of gratitude and share what that means. If one day I wrote out, I'm grateful for my eyes, I'm grateful for my ears to hear, I'm grateful for my mouth to eat. So think about that. I'd like to talk about attitude. Is that a good one, Laurie?
That's a very good one. I think that's perfect.
Okay, so then if we go, we start with attitude. So that's in our head, it's in our mind. We're thinking about this. Now, what would be another best practice? So we think positive thoughts. how do we anchor them out? How do we get them from here to here and then into here, us as a being? Well, Laurie talks about it all the time. Write what you're grateful for in detail. Not just I'm grateful, and that's fine, but in detail. And Laurie talks about this so well. Laurie, can you speak to this? What's the reason we need the detail? Because you always talk about how when you read this, I mean, I do too, but I think you talk about it more passionately for some reason, because you said when you read what you wrote, it really brings you right back into it, right?
Right. Yes, exactly. So, we can all say, like, we're happy and grateful for life, for the house that we live in, the car that we drive. And we should be every single day. But I always say take it a step further, and every single day write down 5 things that you're grateful and thankful for, and in detail, and that happened that day. So then you're looking for different things to get into your mind and to feel that. And because sometimes we have bad days, right? None of us are immune to that, right? We have bad days. And so when you have a bad day, it's so easy to dwell on all the negative thoughts that surround that situation or happening or whatever. And so when you force yourself to think of the grateful things that happened that day, and then you write them out, then also when you read them back that day, as well as when you read them back on another day, when you have a bad day. I had a very stressful weekend this weekend. And today, actually, I still was stressed out, even though I went to my reflexologist for 2.5 hours. And going to the grocery store, getting groceries, I started crying. And I had then I was criticizing myself for no reason to cry, right? But then I came home, I just put all the groceries away. I still had some other errands to run, but I chose not to do them because I listened to my body. I needed something. I needed to rest. I needed to, regroup. And so I came home, I put the groceries away, I went to my room, I shut the door, I pulled out my gratitude journal, and I started reading things that I'm grateful and thankful for. And I also started writing things that I'm grateful and thankful for from today as well as from this weekend. And so normally I do it just every single day, but this day I felt like I needed more. So I wrote more, and then I literally laid down, and I didn't fall asleep. I wanted to fall asleep for a little while, but I didn't. But I still laid there and rested for a little while. And then I felt so much better when I got up.
Laurie, I'm glad you're feeling better. And I'm so glad that you explained that when you're reading your gratitude and then you go back and you write it, it is so therapeutic. It's not an exercise. They just do this exercise because the gratitude girl said that I need to do that. Think about it really as gratitude therapy. Think about when you have an attitude of gratitude and then you take the action to take the thoughts from your mind, put them in the book, and then you put them back in. What you put in is what comes out, and what comes out is what you put in. So when you keep your state of mind in that gratitude, that's a really good place to be because you will attract that. So if you have a bad day and you're thinking the day is really bad and I'm really wish it was different, but you go to your gratitude journal and you realize, oh yes, I really am very grateful for that food or my partner or my animal. I'm grateful for what the neighbor did. And you go back into that gratitude. You almost can't let the negativity come in when you're just putting rose petals. Think of gratitude as lining the bed with roses, so to speak, putting out the red carpet, Gratitude has that effect. So after the attitude, the action of writing and reading is a really good best practice. Let's go to another practice. How about random acts of kindness? Being in a store, paying for someone's groceries behind you or a portion of it, or buying someone a coffee. These days we're outside, we're in a line, a drive up. Give what you can to the teller, to the person that's serving you, and say, coffee's for the next 2 cars, or whoever. Not to be recognized, not to have some validation for that, to do this because you can. So that action of being grateful that you can choose to spend your money to help someone else or surprise them. Maybe that person can do the same thing, but never thought of it. And as soon as you do that, you know what the ripple effect is? So you sort of trigger like, oh, someone bought me a coffee. I think I'll buy someone else a coffee, or maybe they'll buy someone dinner. And imagine how that goes. So now we have the attitude, we have the action of writing and bringing out the gratitude. And now we go and we take an act. That's a very powerful 3. We can do 5, I think, before 15 minutes are up. Those are 3 very powerful actions and thoughts to take. You've done that a lot, Laurie, right? I know that you say you do that I'm not saying I don't, but I know that you talk about it and you do things for people. I think that's amazing. You just randomly buy coffee.
Yes, I love doing things like that, or dropping off, clothes or food. Or I'll tell you a story one time that I did, and I love to be anonymous because that's it. I'm not doing it because I want the pride, right? I'm doing it because I'm just trying to put that gratefulness out there, because I know it's going to come back to me in different ways. But I'll tell you a story when I did get, because I got kind of caught. So it wasn't planned, but I was in a restaurant and I went and had lunch with a girlfriend. And so I paid for our dinner and I signed the check. And because I like to give cash as the tip a lot of times. So a lot of times I'll put the bill on a credit card, but then I'll give them the cash basically. So then the waitresses can do what they want with it, especially if I give an extra over the 20% or whatever, right? So I signed the check and I signed it just as is, with no tip. And so I closed the thing, and then I hid $100 on underneath my plate, $100 bill. And so, well, in this restaurant, which I didn't know, because we like to go to different restaurants too. Well, in this restaurant, apparently the waitress comes by and she gets the little portfolio that had the credit card in it or whatever. And then the busboy comes and they get the dishes. And so it's funny because I guess some places do that or whatever. But anyway, so could imagine what she thought. And she told me, she thought, oh, I was so nice. What did I do to deserve nothing? And she was telling me the story because as we were walking out, because I had just left it there and walked out. And so she ran out to catch us. And so she's telling me the story that she had grabbed that. She noticed that I put 0 for the tip, and she had a bad day and was feeling down, and then and she was like, I thought I was nice to them. I thought I took care of them. Why would somebody, just not leave me any tip? Well, then the busboy brought her that $100 bill that I had left underneath and hid underneath my plate. Because it was a $100 bill. So I don't want to just leave it out for anybody walking by to see it, right? And so that busboy could have pocketed it too, but he didn't. He gave it to her. And so she ran out and found me. We had just stepped outside the front door, and started crying, started telling me how grateful and thankful she was, told me that she had just found out she was pregnant and she was single. She didn't know what she was going to do, doesn't have health insurance, all that stuff. And even though she was happy that she was pregnant, then she still got all these other emotions and, what's her mother going to say? And, all those different things. And anyway, that little $100 is going to help her, but she said it was just, at first it was like the smack in the face, like, what happened? Why, I was nice to them. I waited on them good. Why did I not get it? Why did I get stiffed? And then obviously she got blessed a little bit more. So, and it was like, our bill was like $15. I mean, it was a cheaper restaurant, that, so anyway, so that was just a little story of when I didn't expect to get caught, but I did.
That's a great story, Laurie. I never heard that. That's really good. So there's an act that went to like the right person at the right time, right? Anybody who received that would have been great for them, but you certainly did that at a great moment for that girl. Let's see if we can get two more off quick. So we have state of mind, attitude, state of mind. We have writing our gratitude and then reading it. We have taking an action. What about somebody really close to you, whether it's someone you work with or someone that you live with, helping them get closer to what it is that's important to them and being grateful. So if you know that your partner wants to eat a certain way, or if your colleague wants to make a certain amount of sales, or if you know that they have a quota because there's a bonus at the end of it, what about, think about it, what about giving some of your time to help them achieve their goal? Not just you achieving your goal, and when you're done and you can relax or you can go further, but saying, what can I do to help you? I'm so grateful that you're here with me. And giving of you, the thing that is so precious. We all have 24 hours. No one has 24 hours plus interest of 6%. No one has US time versus Canadian time. It's the same 24 hours. There is no exchange rate, no Bitcoin, no Ethereum, no Lira, nothing. It is all the same 24 hours. What if you give part of yours to someone that you care about to help them get to their goal? That's something to be grateful for.
Yes, definitely. That's incredible too. And like, I know we are doing this week, we started a new, or are going to start, tomorrow's day one, that we are doing it's a 6-day major cleanse that like it has strict rules. You can only do it 3 or 6 days. You can't do it longer than that. And but we're doing that because we're dedicated of getting healthy. I'm so grateful that Kevin is doing it with me, because that's huge, right? Especially when you're a married couple. If you both aren't on the same page, then it's hard. And today he was out, we're selling our house here and moving to the Columbia house. It's already sold. We don't have to do anything else to this house because it's done, right? The contract is done. All we have to do is move our stuff out. But he was outside pressure washing the house. So that way it's even nicer for the new family that's going to come live in here, even though he pressure washed it last year when we moved in. So, but we're leaving and he's outside pressure washing the house. So that is so sweet too, of doing something for other people that, didn't have to be done. When we bought this house, the sellers didn't do a thing to it after we signed our contract, right? And you could tell that once we got here.
And that is a really great deed and a position of gratitude, that it's not just with you, it's you and your husband. And I know what you mean about the food, because we started February 24th and we're still doing that. And let me give you 5. Let's do, because it's 17 minutes. So number 5. So I'd love for you to think about this. What is yet a deeper best habit of gratitude? What about donating, gifting? If you are in the financial position to do that, if you have an abundance of something in your home or outside your home, gifting that to an organization, a community, to a person, and let them have this thing from you without any strings attached. So if you're able to, very similar to what Laurie did with the $100 bill, but let's say you go through your clothes, like Laurie and I, right? We can go through our clothes. We can look at all those things that we don't wear, and we can give them to an organization, or we can give them to a house. We can give them to a group of women because they're women's clothes. And we can say, this is for someone's special day, because that person may not need the type of clothing that we're giving, but we can give it with a story. So on your birthday, on a holiday, we want to give these fancy dresses or these gowns, even though it may not be the necessity. But imagine someone being able to try on something really fancy when it just wasn't in their cards at that moment. So go a little bit further. So I'll recap: state of mind, attitude, gratitude, state of mind. Take your gratitude book and write and read as a form of gratitude therapy. Go and take an action and do something that shows your gratitude. Go a little bit closer to someone that you work with or that you live with, like Laurie and her husband are doing with food and a cleanse, as my husband and I are doing as well. Just we're doing that, so we know how important that is. And then number 5 would be to go beyond and make a donation, whether it's a financial or a vibrational donation. It could be sweat equity, so to speak, where you go and you help someone. Even what Kevin is doing is pressure washing. Now it's somebody else's house almost, right? Go and help someone do something. Go and help them move, or help them unpack, or cook a meal for them, or give them an extra few dollars, or something that you can do. And with those 5 best practices, I invite you to come back to us and tell us what your results are, because we know the possibility. You know, when there is a possibility, the opportunity shows up. So when you open that possibility for others, the opportunity shows up for them as well. Laurie, we're going to go into our private room,
Yes,
right?
and
Okay.
yes, we are. I was going to tell you a quick story with that too, with that last one that I just thought of is, a lot of times it opens up, when you do that, it opens up a vacuum that ends up being wonderful for you. So, we did that a lot when we moved from the other house to here. I was in that other house for 25 years, 25 and a half years. And so I gave away so much stuff. And it was like, we have attached to our church. Our church has a men's home that helps like men when they first get out of jail. A lot of times before they went into jail, they, maybe got evicted or whatever happened, because they couldn't pay their rent, when they went to jail, right? And they lost all their stuff. So when they get out of jail, then they have nothing and no place to live, or maybe their place to live isn't feasible for them to go back to, right? So we have that. We donated a lot of stuff to that. I donated lots of clothes and things to another woman's home that I know that's in the area that helps women that are trying to get their life back together and get back into the job world and things like that. But when you go through things and you get rid of them, and especially I think gifting them to other people, I posted a lot of things on Facebook, has a marketplace for anything local. And I posted a lot of things on that for like $1. And I didn't even want the dollar. And I would tell people, because it was like stuff that was a lot more expensive, right? And because things that just weren't worth anything we threw away. But I just put it for $1, mainly meaning because you have to post it for some amount and it has to be $1 amount. But that, so people could come by if they wanted it, they came by, I put it on the front porch, they came by and picked it up, and they'd say, where do you want me to leave the $1? And I said, it's just because Facebook makes you put $1 amount. I didn't even really want that, right? And so, and so many people came by and picked up stuff, and I would tell them, and so many were honest too, right? Because I mean, I had like literally, I had 100 different things on my front porch. And I would put things on one side that weren't scheduled for anybody, and on another side, things that were scheduled. And I would tell people, okay, the things on this side don't touch, but all the things on the other side are things that I haven't posted yet. You're welcome to take anything that you want there. And everybody took what they were supposed to take, and I literally probably had 10 to 15 people coming every day, grabbing stuff. And, who knows how many people I helped with that. And the same thing, not to say, thank you to me, but it blessed me, because I believe that we created that vacuum to allow more happiness and abundance to come into our life, because I decluttered my life.
Yes, and that's exactly the possibility of helping someone and the opportunity of what you did with them. And these best practices aren't things we're talking about, they're things we're living, as Laurie is giving you a story for each and every one of these best practices as we're both relating to it. We invite you to be connected to these best practices. If they're not something that you're currently doing, give it a try. You know what they say, you either do it or you try it. Try it is like try to stand up and you don't, and stand up and you do. So give it your energy, because everything is energy. Give it some attention and let us know. Let us know how you're doing with that. So if you're here and this is your first time in our coaching group, we are going to go into our private room. We invite you to look at the other videos and posts that we have. Engage with us, continue to engage with us, and hop on over to our private dining room where we will answer your specific gratitude coaching questions. And next week, just to confirm the date so that you don't think I'm looking at the phone only, it's Easter Monday. Laurie, do we make an executive decision? Are we here next Monday night? Yes? Okay.
Yeah, works for me.
Okay, so that is Monday, April 5th at 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central, 6:30 Mountain, and 5:30 Pacific. We will see you next week here at the Gratitude Girls private coaching and training group. Come on over into our private room. It's Laurie Delk. You just put that into your code. Actually, the room is called Laurie Delk, all lowercase, LAURIEDELK. We'll see you over there. Thank you, Laurie.
Thank you, everyone.